The Tale of the Frog. Once upon a time there was a young monk who was famous for his true practice. The monk resolutely cut off all his desires, focusing only single-mindedly on the nothingness of Zen. The king heard the story, respected him greatly, returned to the palace, bestowed the title of national monk and ordered the restoration of a temple in the south of the capital for the monk to be the abbot. But the monk thanked the king and only asked for permission to see the pagodas and beautiful sights in the world. One day, the monk alone went to a faraway temple in the north. There was a fellow monk there that the monk had not seen for a long time. Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara had long heard rumors about the monk. This time, on the occasion of the monk's outing, Lady Buddha decided to try to see what that person was like. If she is truly a true monk, she will take her to Tay-Truck and convert her to become a Buddha. When the monk was about to cross a wide river, she turned into a very young and beautiful girl, carrying a boat to the wharf to transport hitchhiking passengers. That day, also according to Lady Buddha's miracle, that section of the river became deserted, with very few people and boats passing by. When the monk climbed into the ferry compartment, the girl pulled out the pole and rowed out into the middle of the river. Then she steered the boat to a deserted sandy beach and parked it. The monk was surprised and asked the driver why she didn't go straight to the other shore. The pilot just waited for that question to let go of the oar, smiled a very affectionate smile, then climbed into the cabin and jokingly replied that she saw the monk so handsome so he put his pole here and begged for affection. The monk had heard that there were many girls in this area, so his face turned serious. Amitabha Buddha. I hope the people of the world of business will forgive this cultivator. But the boatman did not let go. She tried to get close and suggestive. The monk said nothing, quietly opened the package, took out the Diamond Samadhi Sutra and recited it. The monk's reading became louder and louder, drowning out the boatman's voice. But the boat driver still laughed and talked. Then he covered his hand with the prayer book. The monk looked back out of the boat and sternly warned, Amitabha Buddha. In the poor monk's body was an order from the emperor. In it, the emperor ordered that anyone who committed a crime against a poor monk would be sentenced to death. So I hope you will not violate the king's rules. The monk's threat did not deter the girl at all. She said, I want to die. I just wanted him to have a little pity and then die. But after a while, seeing that the monk's heart was not moving, the fairy woman tried another trick, trying to seduce him as much as possible. She started taking off her shirt. When the swallow-tail apron was put down, the monk closed his eyes. The monk turned towards the package, took his shirt and put it on her. In the cramped ferry compartment, the monk's hand was still holding the rosary, his mouth was still mumbling the prayers. Meanwhile, the girl's voice was like honey pouring into his ears. He loves you a little. ... He looked out and saw. There was no one. ... But it was ineffective. Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara was very touched. But a son of Buddha like this is very worthy of occupying a seat on the Nath Ban. But if you try it, you have to try it well. The ninth attack, the boatman was still rebuffed. The young and beautiful daughter's breath wafted on her cheek, but the monk's expression remained unchanged. But for the 10th time, the girl did not expect that the fortress that she thought was solid would be taken down so unexpectedly. The monk's hand naturally trembled as he placed it on her body. Well, in just 1 minute, more than 20 years of practice were thrown away. So Guanyin was not satisfied with that trip. Angry because the monk lacked perseverance in the face of the temptation of lust, and in that case, his old reputation was no longer worth considering, so Lady Buddha grabbed the monk's neck and immediately threw it into the river like someone throwing a piece of paper. Trash. Yet the Buddha still did not consider him guilty, so he forced him to become a frog, a low-class animal. That's why it is said that today the lineage of frogs still retains the habits of their ancestors. For example, when they are beheaded, they still clasp their front legs together like a person bowing. 1. Advertising Northerners have a humorous story called The Legend of a Frog. Once upon a time, there was a monk who became a monk when he was still a child. The monk is famous for his sincere practice and extensive learning, and he is proficient in all demon slaying and exorcism techniques. One day, the Buddha told the monk in a dream that he would attain enlightenment after participating in a competition in heaven. When he woke up, the monk was very happy, and from then on he decided to practice the sutras and mudras day and night to become proficient. One day, the monk suddenly thought, "I have all 6 magical powers. The only thing I have never known is a woman's body. If when I go up there, people ask me, I don't know how to answer." But wanting to know that is not easy. Finally, the monk decided to ask the secret master for help. The monk searched from the beginning of the village to the end of the market but couldn't find anyone, so he had to go home and coax his wife, only to be sweet and sweet until she agreed to go. After learning about a woman's body, the monk was very satisfied. But from then on he became ignorant. Stupidity, chanting and worshipping are not needed anymore. The enchantment also lost its effectiveness. Buddha knew about that, got angry and had him killed by lightning. Even so, the Buddha was still angry and forced the monk to turn into a frog. When he opened the coffin to pick up the remains, only a frog jumped out. That's why there's a proverb, "Being a monk won't make it through life, giving birth to a frog for people to skin, too." First. According to Lang de, Lands. And Nam Fairy Tales and Legends. 2. According to Our Magazine, 1910. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.